This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
It's 8 o'clock this Tuesday evening when Ndtv-Hindu does the talking and makes sure you are glued for the next 30 minutes with our big stories in the city and the nation. Good evening, I'm Evelyn Matthew. The talking point on everyone's lips tonight is that the protests over rocketing fees at schools in the city has perhaps gone in vain. The issue over the hike in school fees has been stayed by the Madras High Court, and my guest in the studio is a smiling Prince Gajendra Babu, but mind you, he is not too happy with what has happened at the courts today. Also joining me live from our newsrooms is Minal Shah, who's got the buzz from the parents in the city who feel they've been only left in the lurch today. Meanwhile, training guns at the bull's eye of power politics are the parties on the opposition's side. Their target this time is the Telecom Minister A. Raja. Shabir Ahmed will join us later on in the show to get you the latest battle of words in the state politics. Before we get into all of that in detail, a quick look at our top stories at 8 p.m. The Madras High Court sends a snub to Justice Govindarajan and his plans. A stay on the fee structure recommendations disappoints the parents.
I have not seen the judgment. Let it come to me. I'll react over it.
The opposition in the state ups their ante against the telecom minister and the ruling DMK. Left parties want A. Raja to face the music.
It is already politically motivated. Some vested interests and corporate war.
Joining the bandwagon is AIDMK Supremo Ms. Jayalalitha on Annadurai's birth anniversary. She pledges to drive the DMK out of the ruling seat. A 25-year-old woman's death is investigated as a murder for gain by the city police, but her shattered family allege a gang rape. And Kollywood's diva Shreya Saran has only words of praise for her Shivaji, trusts his robotic performance to be a blockbuster at the box office.
So really looking forward to it.
Let's also take a quick scan of our top national stories this time. Omar Abdullah brushes away rumours of his resignation. He meets his coalition partners over getting a political package from the centre. After a bloody Monday, the Kashmir Valley is under curfew. For the first time in over a decade, air services to and from Srinagar are suspended. After touching the highest peak in 32 months, the Sensex opens on a positive note. And Sports Minister M.S. Gill snubs wrestler Sushil Kumar's coach at a photo shoot. Well, the big story today in what may seem as a big relief for private schools but not the parents' community, the Madras High Court has stayed the implementation of Justice Govindarajan Committee's fee structure in the current academic year. Hearing a batch of petitions moved by the private school managements, Justice Vasuki of the Madras High Court stayed the implementation of the new fee structure. This comes in the background of several protests staged by parents in different parts of the city when most of the private schools have been accused of overcharging. The private schools were up in arms against the recommended fee structure as it was not in line with their financial requirements. They have been referring, the parents have been referring to these recommendations in fact and have been demanding that the respective schools stop charging such exorbitant fees. The Justice Govindarajan Committee's recommendations had come into force since the 11th of August this year after the state government decided to regulate exorbitant fee structures in nearly 11,000 private schools in Tamil Nadu. But now with that stay in place, parents are left with no option really and they cannot any longer ask for the fees to be lowered. Now, while those parents have been confused after that stay by the High Court, the School Education Minister has refused to comment on the issue.
No, I'll get back to you on this because now we are on this. I have not seen the judgment. Let it come to me. I'll react over it. I do not have details as such with me. So once I have details, I can get back to you on this.
And joining me today for this discussion tonight is Prince Gajendra Babu, an education activist. Also joining us live from our newsrooms is our reporter Minal Shah, who has been tracking this story very closely. First to you, Mr. Babu, do you believe that today has been a day when a lot of hopes by many parents in the city has been really put off by something as simple as a stay by the Madras High Court?
Actually, it's all gone in vapor. because the parent believed much that some relief they will be able to get, and it's half the way. When they admitted the child in June, they thought that it will be a regulated fee, a fee that's been announced by the government, and with that hope they have admitted the child. Now if the schools are going to demand much money, where will they go and get that money? And the second point is that there are some schools, really 4,000 schools, which has accepted Govindarajan Committee's recommendation. What will happen to those schools if the order is stayed, whether it is stayed even for that schools, or it's going to be only for the people who have come to the court? Then it is not an equal game. And the parents are taken for a ride. It's that's what many of us believe, and we hope that the government will understand the sensitiveness of the case and will immediately approach the bench for a stay, to vacate the stay.
So you believe something like this has really not brought out something substantial enough which was needed, more or less?
Yeah, surely. We thought that the court will take into consideration the agitations that have been going on in various school campuses, outside the school campuses, and parents really want to control the fee structure.
Right. I want to just bring in our reporter Minal Shah, who has been tracking several reactions from the parents community. Minal, you've been speaking to a lot of the parents who've been protesting day after day, who've now really reacted after that stay. What are the reactions you've been getting?
Well, parents are extremely disappointed, extremely let down. Just last month, the Chief Minister himself had reiterated the fact that the Justice Govindarajan Committee should be followed in all private schools, and which was a real hope for parents. But when the private schools shrugged off this order also, it was a huge letdown, and they were hoping that the law will stand by them, and they are let down by that too. In fact, parents have been very angry because they've been protesting in front of schools, because they feel that in fact books like the Samachir Kalvi, which is charged at 250 rupees, is being sold at 1,500 rupees. Schools are also charging additional charges without really giving them what those charges are. So these are the frustrations that have been coming out from parents. They've been protesting, but looks like it has all been in vain.
Right, Minal, it pretty much looks like the parents have really no bargaining power in their hands anymore. Do you believe that someone like the school education minister, who we just heard didn't have too many details about that judgment, should go ahead and appeal against this stay?
Surely, the government of Tamil Nadu must go against this judgment, and they should ask the High Court to vacate the stay. They should approach the bench. If that is not possible, they have to again go to the Supreme Court and see if some justice is done to the parents, because all the matriculation schools and the private schools, they have an association at various levels, to the district level, state level, and they have got federations also. They have a bargain power. They can meet the press, they can go to the minister, they can appeal in the court, they can spend money, and nearly almost all the senior councils are standing for them. And if that is the case, and the parents really believe that the government should come for their support, and their voice must be reflected in the court through the government.
Right, but at this point, do you also believe, let's take a very critical point of view here, do you believe that the government has been rather indecisive, because they have really delayed in terms of, reacting to it, and that has really favored something like a stay by the Madras High Court?
Exactly, the government did not have the political will to implement this act. Right from the day one, when the circular was first distributed to the schools in the May 7th circular of the Govindarajan Committee, the CEOs, the DEOs did not visit the schools to find out whether the fee structure has been displayed in the notice board, whether the parents were known. And after that, the appeal came. There was a wavering. When the minister was very firm, the school education minister firmly said that we will not be cowed down by any pressure from the matriculation schools. But the chief minister came in and said that we will definitely consider if there is appeal, and that gave them some kind of a strength. And the Govindarajan Committee should have categorically stated whether they accept the appeal or whether they are going to discard it. But instead of that, they said they are going to do it only in the next year. So these things really helped the managements to go and fight in the court.
All right. Before we end this discussion, I want to pose a question to both you and to our reporter. Minal, first to you. At the end of this day at least, do you believe it's advantage schools or advantage government?
Well, actually, we cannot say that at the moment, because even as we were talking, I have been receiving messages saying that the sources from the government department saying that they are going to challenge the stay order tomorrow, most definitely, because looks like they are being being pressurized by parents as well as the public in general. So looks like the government is finally acting up, and sources have been telling us that they are going to challenge the interim stay order tomorrow.
Right. Thanks very much indeed for joining us this evening, Minal Shah. Sir, to you, advantage school, advantage government.
It's advantage to schools at present.
Why?
Because the schools will start collecting the fee. They have been already doing that. It was a shady thing. Now they can come out and do it boldly, and the parents can't say anything. They can't even agitate, because if they agitate, the police will come and say that the stay has been given by the High Court and you have to pay the fee whatever the school is asking. So it's really an advantage school. But if the government doesn't go for an appeal, if it doesn't take the issue very seriously, then it's definitely misfire.
Perhaps that's only one thing we can only hope for, that the government is perhaps listening to this discussion and take into consideration. Thank you very much, Mr. Prince, for joining me this evening on the discussion. Well, still ahead on the bulletin, as the opposition unites against the telecom minister, will DMK's troubled child get the stick? Stay tuned for more on that.